Okay, so there are a couple things that I know are helpful whilst being a medical student, whilst also being on placement. And I feel like everyone else should be doing these things as well. So here they are. Number one is knowing the names of the people you are working with, whether that be your nurses, doctors, ACPs, porters, literally everyone. Get to know people's names. I think that's just really important. When we go on, placement, a lot of us may feel disconnected. The one thing that will connect you with everyone is knowing their names. If you know their name and you say their name at least 3 times to them in throughout the day to their face, they will have an element of inquisitiveness to probably know your name as well. That element of respect comes in, that familiarity, and you won't feel like an outsider. That is really important. And I have seen huge impacts and changes because when someone knows your name, it almost gives them the right to ask you stuff, to get you to do stuff. So, being a medical student, you want to learn, right? You want to learn. So, this is the perfect opportunity, that step up that will change your experience. Tip number two. This may be a little bit controversial, but don't just go on placement for the sake of DOPS and getting things signed off, because that is a very easy task to do. Instead, spend a little bit more time on placement, even if you don't get anything signed off. The longer you stay on placement for, yes, you could argue that, okay, if you're not learning anything on placement, just go home. Trust me with this, there is an element of passive learning that does happen whilst being on placement, especially if you're being present. And also pick the brains out, the doctors that are around you. You're paying for this degree, you're paying for this experience. Like if you're going to go home and just study, then it's not really worth the amount of money. And also on top of that, I have gained so much experience by just staying a couple of extra hours, with doctors saying, "Oh, can I shadow you on, for this whatever on-call shift that you're doing?" I, if you don't ask, you don't get. And trust me when I say this, staying those couple of extra hours shows a little bit of dedication, and you will end up getting something out of it. For example, I remember I stayed like an hour extra and I witnessed a cardiac arrest call, and I learned so much from that one event that it's endless amount of stuff that I've learned. But just to make it very clear with you, that don't just go on placement for the sake of DOBS. Yes, if it's exam season, fair enough. You probably are pressured just to go on placement for DOBS, but you want to make the most of it. This is your learning opportunity. The other piece of advice is get good at your smaller skills or your softer skills. Let me give you an example. For example, we are taught as medical students to learn how to cannulate. If you can practice cannulation again and again and again and again and again, there will come a point where you will be needed. And when you build up that competency, you are you will have the confidence to actually put your foot in, step in, and help when someone needs to be cannulated, especially at times where there's a little bit more pressure as well. Obviously, look at your own competency and look at the environment and the boundaries of your role as well. But at the same time, if you practice all these different skills, even things such as you know um, as basic as A2E assessment or your clinical examinations, make them so refined, do them again and again. This is your opportunity to practice with real patients, and one is practicing it, but the second bit is also watching. I get it. We, get signed off on dummies and we're almost like signed off to do it basically. No, you need to be able to watch people do it as well. And once you watch people do it, then you're able to do it yourself. So yes, we practice on dummies and in simulation. Then you watch people do it in real life. Then you do the real thing as well. And that's how we learn. And me personally, when I was part of that cardiac arrest call, me knowing how to cannulate, whilst I didn't cannulate, but I saved a little bit of time by getting all the equipment out ready on the tray, ready for the nurses to cannulate. It's just that little bit of extra help that I provided that made me feel like I was a part of the team. It's as simple as that. Whether I did anything or not, like physically, that's a separate matter. But the point being made is those little things do add up in situations like these. So all these different things, those 3 points I mentioned, now I've kind of forgot, so you're going to have to watch back this video in past 5 minutes. But these are things that actually genuinely helped me on my medical school placement. So I feel like you should give it a try too.